Today we're going on an adventure looking for hobby supplies in Mr. DIY. First thing I found is these needle files that are easy for removing stubs. You also have plastic cutters, which is a must-go to have in the hobby. But if you need to cut something really thick and hard, then yeah, that sounded so wrong, but this is also a good go-to. You have compartment boxes, so if you have a lot of bits you want to organize, they have it as well in different sizes. If you're doing textures for foam and terrain, this is a really must-have too. They also have Bosny in Mr. DIY. Aside from that, they have different colors as well. And they have a Mr. DIY spray can collection as well, which is actually I highly recommend. They have a lot of glues. They have super glues for everything. They also have epoxy putties, shoe glues, which is also a go-to, and you have like epoxy glue right there, and yeah, it's a lot. You also have Loctite, which is a #1 recommend also in the hobby, and if you're a classic Mighty Blonde girl.
By the way, if you have an airbrush and you have a compressor, this is a really go-to place I go to buy some airbrush gaskets and stuff, parts that I need for my hose, just in case it breaks, which they do. And Mr. DIY has it.
Tweezers, because yeah, you do need tweezers. Mask cleaner, if you want to make your own DIY flow improver. They have Q-tips and tissues, which is we need a lot of those. Baking paper, parchment paper, aluminum foil, they also have it here.
They got aprons if you need aprons, but I would suggest just buy the Pilipintados one. Toothpicks for sculpting, they got it too.
Another set of a bajillion containers for everything you need, or a web palette.
Actually, this is the best deal. It's only $42 for 5. So if you're gonna make your own web palette, that's the best one. If you need something bigger, this is also cool. It's only $109. It's a drainage something, but it looks cool. I actually want to grab one of these. Organizers.
A ton of selection and sizes of masking tapes and tape. They also have like double-sided and stuff, but we're gonna go here for masking tape, which is we often use a lot. It comes with super different rights. Cheapo paintbrushes that we use for terrain or base coating. They do have one has a pointy edge on it. I think that's a good if you really want to cheap out on your brushes, but this is a good selection.
Uy, Beyblade.
This is super light air dry clay. So this dries like a foam, and when you snap it together when it dries, it turns like cork or like a type of terrain built rock formation if you want to. I've used it in a couple of videos back in the day, which I could show you a sample of my work here. It's only 63 pesos. It's super cheap. It's way cheaper than cork. I highly recommend you guys grab one of these. I guess I'll put a link for that video so you guys can check it out. Makeout sponges for stippling and effects and dry brushing. Very useful. The absorbance brush sponge towel thingy for your DIY palettes out there. They have a ton in different colors too. Hobby knife, an entire set, $142. That is also a good deal. Now let's take our whole home. Okay, after our trip, this is some of our haul. So this is the drainage crisper Tupperware thing. So we're gonna make a web palette out of our adventure. So I guess this series of videos will just me making something DIY tool for the hobby. I think it's cool, you know, a cheaper option for you guys. So the reason why I picked this one is it's big. Usually if you're painting an entire army, you need a lot of stuff, and this is one of them. So if you want a size comparison of how big this is, so this is a Arcus web palette. It's a little bit bigger, this thing here, and it's almost, well, it's also a little bit taller too, but just a little bit. Now if you want to know what it looks like with a Skidmore XL, there you go. Skidmore XL is of course bigger. It's a Skidmore XL, RGG palette. So, but yeah, it's cool. I'm gonna put it down there because this is a superior palette, right? So we're gonna open this. It has like a risers thing on top of it, which is this. So I think this is convenient. The reason why is that we're gonna put water underneath and it will sip through the foam. We'll put the foam on top and it will sip through below to the foam. So yeah, I guess it can hold more water than a regular palette too because it has a riser. Now this is one of the foam absorbent sponge thingy towels, right? So when you open it, it comes with two of this, guys. You don't need to cut this because it's already big enough to fit here. So let's do that. Just open this, and then yeah, it fits. See, it really fits. So also we got parchment paper or baking paper from MR.DIY as well. This is already opened because I already have a MR.DIY baking paper because I always buy baking paper there for this kinds of stuff, making DIY wet palettes for class. Yeah, so let's grab our water, which is here. Again, always distilled water. This is distilled water, by the way, in a pump bottle. So we're just gonna place some here. Just gonna pour some there. I don't know if I have enough water for this, but this is, I think it was 250 ml of this, so it was until here, so that's 250. Okay, I don't think we have enough water, but let's see. We place this. Oh, never mind, we have enough, I think. Okay, let's give it a good soak. Yep, it's doing its thing. It's absorbing it. Okay, maybe it's a little bit tight. I think maybe you need to cut it a bit, but I think it doesn't matter. Let's move the absorbent towel to the side, I guess. But if you want to be a perfectionist, you can just cut it. I guess in my case, I don't want to. Or I could just do this. Put the razor like that. Put this down, clip it on the side, give it some tight, and then drop it. There you go. Tap for our parchment paper. There you go. So I'm just gonna give it a good measure. Okay, so we're just gonna put our very awfully cut parchment paper, and there you have it. Your very own wet palette, and I'm just gonna put the tap on there after paint session, and then we're good to go. Now let's give it a little bit time to soak the paper in the water before we use it, but that's all you need to do, guys. That's our MR.DIY adventure. By the way, this is Rainiera. She's gonna be a new mascot for Kaizen Minis. And yes, my hair is technically red. So I also tried their spray can, and the palette is really good so far. So it's holding up well. And I'm enjoying actually the MR.DIY spray can because I use it to sorry, she's really fuzzy. Use it to spray can this. There you go. I'll just put the camera here. Look at that. It's really cool. And they're really smooth, which is amazing. So I highly recommend them. And this wet palette, I'm gonna make a video, I guess, painting with this wet palette because so far it's really good. So yeah, that's all for my adventure, guys. Thank you for watching. I am Kai. See you guys on the next video. Hope you learned so much today. Bye, guys.